Hey, this is Max. Welcome back to another CSR2 video. I'm here with the Phoenix Legendary Golden Cup. You have to use the new 2005 Ford GT to do this cup. What I'm going to do is I am now on race 17 towards the end where things are going to get tougher. We're going to go through the Golden Cup and go through the stage 6 effects of this car kind of as we play through the cup. So I am currently set up with stage 5 only. I'm going to make this run, then I'm going to add stage 6s and make runs and discuss the effects at the same time. Alright, here we go. So with this car, one of the thing is you want to get out of first almost right away to third, and then shift to fourth, deep good, nitrous in fifth, and sixth. You're going to waste a lot of nitrous. That's just the way this car is. One of the thing about this car is this shift pattern is from Car. It's actually the maxed out shift pattern, but it seems to work even without any stage 6s. The car is a high top speed car, as you can see, but it is not a very good sprinter and never becomes an even better sprinter, even fully maxed. So it's kind of limited in some sense to what its capabilities are with regard to Tempest, but for the purpose of this cup, and just for the purpose of hitting trap speeds, I can tell you in the half mile, it can easily hit 260 without any stage 6s. Alright, let's start putting stage 6s in, and we'll do a run or two, probably just one run with each stage 6. Let's start off, as always, with engine. Once engine's added, you're going to want to check your tune. Now, mind you, if the computer shows here you don't need to tune, chances are you're only going to be able to eke out a point or two on the Evo, even if you tune it. So, if I see that, and just for the purpose of saving time, sometimes it's not worth it really to tune it too hard, but you can still get a point or two out of it, and that's a 12160 dyno. This brings us to the other point. This car massively beats dyno at all stages. Stage 5 only, the dyno is a 12.302, but you actually end up with a run of 11.7 if you do it right, 11.8 if you kind of had a mediocre run. Now with engine, you dropped a little bit in the time, so therefore the car's going to be faster. So let's take a look. Now we're going to run the next run, and let's see what engine actually runs for us. Oh, well, this is a sprint, so that doesn't really tell us much, but it'll be done the same way. Just kind of short shift everything to get your best sprint. That wasn't the greatest, but again, the sprint's not that great because the way this car is, it just doesn't sprint well. Alright, so we're going to make one more run because that was a sprint, and I need to actually show you a basic run with the engine before we switch over to turbo. The amount of time it drops on the dyno will give you a feel for how much it's going to do for you later on. Engine certainly will do something, but it may not be great as far as overall effects because it didn't drop the dyno all that much. But that doesn't mean it's not going to do anything. Let's see what the final run is. Remember, with a stage 5 only, your best run's probably going to be around like a 11.699, and that's optimal. Most of my runs are more 11.7 and change. So this is a little bit better, just a little bit better, but it's not much. So unfortunately, engine isn't a super strong stage 6. Not that I expected it to be. Let's go to turbo. Alright, so after engine, we're going to move over to turbo. Let's remove engine, put turbo in, and we're going to go back and run it again. As you approach the later half of the Golden Cup, you're going to see that you may get stuck on particular races, particularly the last two. I would expect to be a lot harder. Let's see if it, what it requires for us to get to that stage 6 first, which is race 28. Alright, again, slight tweak can get you something. 255 is very close to what stage 5's dyno is, so this probably isn't going to do a whole lot either. Again, it's up to us to run the car, find out what it'll do. Now the Golden Cup otherwise has been very easy up to this point. However, that is assuming you have full fusion. I did manage to beat the Golden Cup even on my newest account but I had to spend about, I would say 2 full sets of keys for stage 6s. I got lucky. I ended up with 4 or 5 stage 6s, missing a lot of fusions as far as epics are concerned, and even some rare, but the car did make it. However, that is, again, with many more stage 6s, not like this car, which is fully fusioned. So your mileage is going to vary. But for consistency of showing stage 6, of course, a fully fusion car is the best way to go. Ford Fusions are not hard to get. I buy the 302, the Fiesta, and the Mustang all at once. So I potentially get 3 cars at a shot. All right, so here's what you have as far as performance. Very close to engine. Nothing that much better than just stage 5 though. So that's still not a strong stage 6. Let's go back and put in the next one, which is intake. Now this game, well, this event I should say, does give you a few speed traps as well as sprints. The sprints are pretty easy. The speed traps is where things can get interesting if you're not shifting properly. But again, skipping gears seems to be the key here as far as doing that. All right, so here we have intake. We're going to go ahead and put intake in and run that stage 6. As we get closer to the end, hopefully we'll get a feel for if these in particular ones will be enough. I mean, 11.6 probably isn't going to be enough to beat the Cup. I'm thinking you're going to need at least one of the big stage 6s that'll drop it far more than a 11.6 run in order to get this done. But 11.7, 11.6 may get us to race 28. I'm hoping that you should be able to get to the stage 6 that it's going to give you without having to go and get a stage 6, but you never know. All right, let's see what intake comes out to be. Again, dyno's not that great, so it comes down to how much it beats dyno by and how well I can launch and shift it. Your mileage will vary, but at least we get a better feel overall. Let's see. This should be 11.6 run as well. The question is how, well, hey, look, it beat turbo, right? But then again, that's could have been I shifted better this time rather than the other way around. For the purpose of just kind of gauging overall effects, I still find dyno to be the better baseline to work off of. But if certainly, once you get beyond dyno, shift pattern is very important. If you can't shift it, no matter what the dyno says, if you can't hit the dyno or beat the dyno, you're still going to have problems. So right now, what you can tell is that engine, turbo, and intake, they're pretty much on par with each other. Nothing too crazy here. Now, this thing about this Nitrous, I don't expect Nitrous to be a huge stage 6 for this. Why? Because you're not even using much Nitrous at stage 5. Why would you care about stage 6? All that extra duration is generally going to be wasted because you can't use it this way to much effect. It's always going to go the other way to the longest and least, and you're still going to use it in 5th, so all that duration basically wasted. I don't expect Nitrous to be really all that much more effective than turbo or intake because of that. You're really not using it. Okay, so let's see if this is a standard challenge. This may not be. Let me see. Straight up race. Okay, that's fine. All right, so I wish you seen the Desert Diamond West Valley Phoenix Grand Prix they had here. That was something. Well, I'm going to have to Google that because either these guys know what they're talking about or they're pulling it out of their rear end. So that's worth a Google. I'll check that later, see if that event is actually worth looking at or not. Okay, here we go. Standard run. So let's see how Nitrous plays out here. But again, I'm not going to be using it until 5th gear. So all that beautiful duration wasted. Your Nitrous is basically barely used and it just kind of runs as you bounce the needle all the way to the end. And because of that, again, ooh, pretty impressive. So still helps. That few little horsepower helped. That is one of the best runs I've gotten so far. So Nitrous doesn't look too bad, right? Did I dyno it? I think I did, but I might have skipped dynoing it. Point is, that's not too bad. Let's go back and dyno it real quick in case I skipped it earlier before we go to the next stage 6. So Nitrous is better than the other 3 so far. Let's do a quick dyno here. And on the dyno, it's a little better too. The others were mostly in the 12.2 range. This is 12.163 from a 12.302. So even on the dyno, it is a little better. All right, so nitrous, not great, but better than what I expected. Okay, so here we go, body. Oh, look, what do we got here? What do we got here? Oh, that's going to be a big boy. Okay, so body's definitely big boy here because you just saw the numbers jump, and that's untuned. I may get a few more points out of this. Let's take a quick look. 11.7 on the dyno. Wow, that's what stage 5 runs with the under dyno runs from a 12.3. It runs 11.7. This means this stage 6 should run somewhere in the 11.2 to 3 range if I do everything perfectly. That is really, really strong stage 6. You just dropped about 5/10 from dyno, no, almost 6/10 I would say, from the stage 5 dyno. Now let's go run it. I don't think I have the optimal evo. You might be able to get another point out of it, but that's almost irrelevant for the purpose of running the car unless you're going for the absolute world record here. All right, so 11.7 to start. I know this car beats dyno at least 3 to 4/10. So therefore, with 5/10 possible, you may be able to get better. Oh, and we get a speed trap, of course. Okay, not a problem. Now, for the speed trap, what I find to be the best way to go for these quarter-mile speed traps is you're still going to skip the first 2 gear. You're going to go right to 5th and nitrous, because at 5th gear is where power actually comes in, and you can get your possibly best top speed in the quarter mile out of doing it that way. It may still be hard to get the exact numbers you want. By the way, in stage 5 only, I was only able to top out at 232. With just this body stage 6, I am now at 243. So it did add quite a bit of performance even on the speed trap here. But we're going to have to run the next one to actually see an actual run for effect purposes, because obviously that was just a speed trap. Oh, here we go. All right, let's go and run it. Okay, again, I'm doing the drive the same way, hopefully, each time. So I'm trying to keep it somewhat consistent for purpose of gauging each stage 6. This is way faster, right, than anything that came before it, 11.2. Like I said, about 5/10 off from where the dyno is. That is an incredible stage 6, and that may be enough to beat the final run for a Golden Cup. That also means for Evo Cup, if you're missing body, you're dead in the water. You're not finishing Evo Cup. Okay, so that's a big stage 6. You've got to make sure you have that one. If you don't, go pull it. Good luck pulling it, because it never gives you exactly what you want. But this one's critical. All right, so we're moving to tire. Here we go. Nice jump there, and ooh, tire's a big boy too. Look at that. The question is tire going to beat body? I don't think so, but they're going to be close. Let's take a look. So let's see how much more I can squeeze out of it. Ooh, not bad. Oh, there it goes. Now I'm done. But I still want to. Ooh, I still got another point here. Nope, that was it. All right. 11.788 is a little bit slower on the dyno than the body. I'm not tweaking this because I find even though you change tire, playing with the tire settings doesn't help. So you want to leave it at 52.48. You're really only playing with final drive, and you always leave this at the longest duration. Okay, let's go. All right, tire's big. Tire's going to do a lot. It's going to be close to what body does, but I think body's still going to come out on top here overall. But here's another what I would consider critical stage 6, meaning you don't have this one, Evo Cup, most likely impossible. So body tire, definite need for Evo Cup. The rest of those, you could miss 1 or 2 probably and still make it through Evo Cup, but you cannot be missing tire or body. These are top 2 stage 6s and are critical to getting that run in. Okay, let's see. Here we go. Nitrous. And it is, yeah, no, it didn't beat body at all. I think it's actually coming in a little bit slower, but still a 11.2 run from 11.7, exactly almost 500ths of a second, half a second basically, and 8,000ths. It's essentially what it ran under the dyno. So again, this car runs everything under dyno. It's very good in that sense, but at the same time, it makes the dyno itself kind of a tougher gauge to use for how good this car is. Okay, get the Heritage. That must be the Purple Star car from the Evo Cup. Obviously, a fully maxed car will get it, but let's go back and take a look at the last stage 6 before we decide how to proceed on finishing this cup. Okay, transmission. All right, a little bit there. And transmission's not going to be strong. It's going to be kind of one of those do a little bit but not a whole lot deals. All right, let's take a look at transmission's tune here and see where we're at. All right, so lowering top speed but increasing possible time run, and what we end up with is essentially a 12.195 dyno, which means it's still going to run like a 11.6, you know, again 5/10, 11.7 probably, 11.7 and change. That's almost as bad as running a basic stage 5 only. I don't know why trans isn't more helpful, but let's go ahead and test it. Maybe I'll get a 11.6 run, then at least it'll run better than stage 5 only. But again, it's not a super strong stage 6. It's in fact one of the weaker ones if we look at all the numbers there. But it's still a little bit stronger in theory than turbo and I believe engine. I'm not sure about intake. I'll have to take a look at intake again. All right, here we go. The question is whether this car will run better than it looks on the dyno. Remember, 5/10 is the average we beat dyno by, so this could be a 11.7 run. The 11.69 run would be exactly 5/10, and 5/10 and change will be, oh, how about that? So it beats dyno a little more than 5/10. Okay, so trans has its little thing here. It actually, I believe, came out right behind Nitrous on the run, because I know both turbo intake and engine was a little bit slower than that. So trans didn't look that great on dyno necessarily, but it worked out okay. All right. So here we're at race 27 coming up. What I'm going to do is, before I get to race 28, I'm going to put it back to stage 5 only, because I'm curious whether I can get that stage 6 without a stage 6. Let's not watch ads. Let's add gas. Just add enough gas to make sure, and let's go ahead and get that trans removed. We're going to run stage 5 only and see if it gets through race 28. If it does, then the question is, and I know the answer probably is a body or a tire, or the two combined definitely will beat the final 2 races. It really depends on where the challenge is. Okay, so let me see if I can get that 302 right there. Let's go ahead and run it. So again, I am on race now 27. Race 28 is going to be the stage 6. If you're this far in the Golden Cup with a car that doesn't have any stage 6 but does have full fusion, you still have a chance, but it's not going to be easy, right? But here's the thing. This hard is deceptive. It's based on your dyno. This is going to be an easy race because I beat my dyno by 5/10. What am I worried about here? Nothing. It's going to win. Unless I botch the run completely, but okay, here we go. That Nissan's going to shoot ahead of me, but I'm going to catch it. Okay, so it looks like it's way out there, but once you get to 5th and Nitrous, here we go. And you blow by it, see? That's how that Nissan works. This car works in the reverse. It's a high-end car that basically, I mean top-end car I should say, that runs faster later in the track and catches up. That means if you're racing that versus this in live, depending on which car you're the driver of, you really have to watch what the other guys, do. And if he shoots way out ahead, you may never catch him. But in this case, if you're driving this and you shoot way out ahead, doesn't mean this car isn't going to catch you. It can still catch you. Wait, so it's kicking me back to the map for some reason after this race. Maybe I clicked something. I'm going to jump back in. I want to get that race 28 done with no stage 6. Again, it's telling you extreme. I have full fusion. Even if it's extreme based on the dyno, I'm going to beat the dyno by 5/10. This should turn out to be nothing more than like a green race. Hard. Not even hard. I would say just medium challenge kind of deal. It shouldn't be that bad. Oh. All right. This is why it's extreme. All right. Remember I told you 230 mile per hour can be hit with stage 5 only. But if you drive it normal, you may not hit that. What you're going to have to do is you're going to have to do that skip to the 5th kind of deal. Okay. And then nitrous. And then what you can do is once the cars start picking up some decent speed, you can go to 6 and boom, 232. That's about the best I've gotten out of it. But it does beat 230. So I was able to get the best stage 6. Oh man, thank you, but I already have it. But the best stage 6 for this car would have been, okay, assuming that's the stage 6 we got, let's see if I can finish Golden Cup with just body and fusions. Alright, so I'm going to go back, I'm going to put in body, I'm going to tune it, and let's see if it gets us through the entire Golden Cup. Again, body being the top stage 6 may very well be enough, because you're going to be running something like a 11.2 with just body. I would think, even if the thing shows extreme, because our dyno is going to be 11.7, I would think that it would be an easy win for the last 2 races with this stage 6. Now, if you have some of the other stage 6s, you may need at least 2 or 3, in fact, to actually get through. But let's find out. I mean, this is the stage 6 to have for this car. Okay, I'm gonna can I get that 22? Why can't I get 22? I thought I had 22 before. Come on. Oh, and there it is, 22. All right. I'm going to go with 1322 Evo. And we're going to go ahead and tackle that last 2 races and see if it can be done. And that, my friends, is the key thing about this car. It does not rely on the dyno because it beats dyno by so much. This is no longer a good gauge of how you're going to do, because at the very end, your dyno may very well show extreme, because your dyno may not beat the 11.5 run that this opponent's going to do, but your car will. So don't get stressed about looking at that. What you're going to have to do is run these to find out. Okay, so this race, I'm pretty positive, is not going to be a faster run than a 11.2. I just don't see it happening, and I'm already beating them before I even activated Nitrous. So I just beat them running without really trying. Okay, and that was a decent gap. So that's definitely 11.175 against 11.7. Now, my dyno was like a 11.7, right? That is why, again, this is showing extreme. But because you beat dyno so much, this is not a problem. So with confidence, I am moving into the final race. I just don't see Golden Cup being that much more difficult than a 11.1. If the opponent runs a 10, I'll have to be honest, I'll be shocked. Okay, all right. Evo Cup's a whole different story. We'll talk about that after in a separate video. But I just don't see Golden Cup being that different. Look, I'm catching up to him already. This is over. Goodbye. And with body, oh, that was tighter than I expected. All right, so with body, you can do it, but, oh, I botched that run. Oh, you know what? I didn't launch perfectly, and if you don't launch perfectly, it will botch the run a little bit. So I almost botched that one because I didn't run well, not because I couldn't beat him badly. Now, mind you, Tire will do the same. Tire will beat that time. There might be slower opponents, But here we go. We know that this is the final time, right? 11-3. Let's go back finally one more time for another stage 6 combo. I'm going to put the slow ones in, and let's see how that plays out on a run. So if you don't have body or tire, let's say you have neither one, okay, just how difficult is it going to be? Well, let's put 5 in. And again, I'm talking full fusion here. Okay. 5 stage 6s, full fusion. And the Evo looks a little bit like tire. So are you going to be able to hit 11-2? Probably. Is it going to be a super easy run? No. Look at that. The dyno is still 11-7. That means even with some tuning, and I may be able to get a few more points, even with some tuning, those other 5 are going to make life kind of difficult for you on that final run for the Golden Cup. That means those 2 can do it individually, but the other 5 can barely squeeze it out together. That is the problem with all cars in this game, and I never understood why it's done this way other than forcing us to get more stage 6s, but hey, that's the way the game is designed and you got to roll with it. Alright, so assuming I'm driving it well, I can still get that 11-1, 11-2 run. I can beat the final race, but mind you, I'm going to need pretty much 4, if not 5 of the stage 6s to get that done, and I'm full fusion. So there you go. That is where you're going to be stuck with Golden Cup. It's going to be on that last race if you don't have body or tire, if you don't have enough fusions. Again, I did this on my newer account where I just pulled a car this season. I used bronze keys to desperately get the stage 6s, and I've been stripping Fords like they're going out of style. And even then, it took, I believe, 5 stage 6s, including one of the big ones. I did get body. Even with body, I needed 4 or 5 stage 6s to finish it because I'm missing so many fusions. So understand it's not that easy. Now, we're going to do Evo Cup in a separate video. I'm going to do it on my main account. I'll show you the Evo Cup, and I'll show you how quickly you get stuck if you don't have body. But this is the Golden Cup with stage 6 effects. I hope this video will be helpful to you. Any questions, ask me in the comments. If you like the video, please leave a like. Share it with your friends if you think it'll help them. And if you like my channel, please subscribe to the channel so you can get notifications when I put up new videos. As always, thank you for watching my videos. I'll catch you next time.